The outrages that have gone on at Camp Ashraf have to stop. People there have been promised protection by the United States, by the Geneva Convention. They should be given protection. The kind of massacre that occurred last April 8th should never have happened. It's a disgrace to the Iraq government to have participated in that, to have allowed Iran to perpetrate that kind of horrible massacre on their territory. That should stop, and it's about time that we sided with the people who oppose the regime in Iran. After all, we supported the overthrow of Mubarak. We have intervened to assist the people of Libya against Gaddafi. The regime in Iran is far worse than either of those two. Gaddafi, very bad man, did really terrible things, but he's kind of been neutered, and he isn't a danger to anybody but himself and his own people right now. And Mubarak was never a danger to the United States. Ahmadinejad, Khomeini, the entire regime in Iran has been a danger to the United States for the last 30 years. It continues to be. And they participate in the same slaughter of their own people as these dictators that we have sought to overthrow. So the United States government should be for regime change in Iran. All I can tell you is that what Maliki allowed to happen or participated in at Camp Ashraf is a violation of human rights. It's the murder of innocent people. It was described by Senator John Kerry of the United States as a massacre. It's been described as an outrage by the UN Commission on Human Rights, by the Commissioner. I mean, something like that should not happen. And Maliki should be held responsible for it because it seems to me that the entreaties of the Iranian government seem more important to him than the right thing to do. The United States of America should be for regime change in Iran. I think that should be our position. It seems to me if we were for regime change in Egypt, we should be for regime change in Iran. That's a pretty simple, just logical analysis. Iran has been one of the worst enemies of the United States in the last 20 to 30 years. It's the biggest supporter of terrorism in the world, the biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. It has slaughtered hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of its own people. Many of them relatives of the people you see here today. To talk about freedom and democracy and movements for freedom and democracy and not talk about changing the regime in Iran is hypocrisy. I've always been in favor of remaining in Iraq and in Afghanistan for as long as necessary to get the job done. We should be there until everybody is confident, including the people of Iraq, that we have a stable, strong democracy in Iraq.